Thank you so much for joining us. A few weeks ago, you'll recall, we talked with Amy Carnevale, chair of the Massachusetts Republican Party, about the upcoming election. Now, it's the Democrats' turn with their state convention just recently behind them. Let's talk about what's up with the Democratic Party in Massachusetts with the chair of the state Democratic Party, Steve Kerrigan, chair of the party since 2023.
Yes.
3 wonderful years, right, Steve?
Wonderful years. Every day is a miracle. Yeah.
That's great. I'm so glad. Nice to talk to someone who loves his work.
Yes.
So this coming Tuesday, June 16th, 9 o'clock, TV 38, Senate candidate Seth Moulton, who's challenging Ed Markey in the September 1st primary, and John Deaton, the presumptive Republican nominee, will meet in a 1-hour debate here. Markey was invited but declined to attend. Then his campaign put out a statement calling this a, quote, fake debate that only serves to elevate the Republican. Do you agree with that?
Look, I think competition's good. I think debate's good. I think airing of issues is good. I'll leave every one of these campaigns to make their own comments about specific events. We don't get involved in Democratic primaries until the vote's been tallied and we have a nominee, and then we get engaged. I think any opportunity to show voters your opinions and your thoughts on things is a good one.
Well, we're looking forward to having, by the way, Senator Markey here within the next couple of weeks for an interview. I've been obviously watching that race closely. I've talked a couple of times with Congressman Moulton, and I'm still hard-pressed to find another issue in the race really beyond the generational difference, the age gap. You interact with Ed Markey often. He will turn 80 later this year. Yeah. Has he lost a step?
If he has, I didn't notice it. He works incredibly hard each and every day for the people of Massachusetts. You just saw, if you saw him at the Pride Parade, he was running around all of the streets of Boston celebrating Pride. We have 2 great candidates running for the United States Senate. The voters of the Democratic Party and unenrolleds who pull a ballot in our primary will decide who the nominee is going to be. And then we're going to do the work to make sure that Massachusetts once again sends an all-Democratic delegation to Washington. What we're seeing every day in Washington is a Republican Party in charge of everything down in Washington and getting absolutely nothing done. We have a president who thinks that he loves the inflation. He doesn't seem to care about this new war that he started, that he claimed he was not going to start. I mean, they are running amok down in Washington, and what we need is more strong Democratic leaders down there. I'm confident that the work we'll do from September 1 to Election Day will yield an all-Democratic delegation.
Steve, it happens every election cycle, along with the issues. Yeah. The character of individual candidates becomes an issue. Do you think that's right? Does character matter? Should it matter to voters?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're asking the people of your district or your state or the country to entrust you with some incredibly important decisions in their lives.
Well, supporters of President Trump have indicated they're willing to overlook his character flaws because they want him in power. Yeah. Do you think that's okay?
No. No, I don't. Look, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. No one's character is perfect. But I think it's when you've got leaders like Donald Trump who put themselves first and foremost above everybody else. And I will give him this credit. He's basically says that. And doesn't do anything to do anything for the people of this country other than his family. You know, that to me is a critical character flaw.
So really, what's the difference between a guy like Trump, who cheats on his wives, or has in the past, and Graham Platner, the Democratic nominee in Maine, who sexts on hookup websites with women while married?
Yeah, look, so whatever someone does in their marriage and their relationship at home is between them and their partner or their spouse, and that's the...
So that doesn't matter?
No, I'm not saying it may matter to them. I think the voters have to look at who they're going to send to the United States Senate and who they're going to put in the Oval Office. And what we've seen in Susan Collins time and time again is basically an empowering of Donald Trump at the expense of the people of Maine and the people of this country. And so is Graham Platner perfect? Absolutely not. None of us is. Does he have a lot of explaining to do on a lot of issues? Absolutely. To his spouse, to his family, to the voters of Maine. But Susan Collins has time and time again said one thing and gone to Washington and done another thing. And the people of Maine are sick and tired of it. And so what they need is at least a leader who is, going to admit when they're wrong and step up and own their truth, which he's got, again, a lot of explaining to do. But when you look at what Susan Collins has done time and again for and most importantly against the people of Maine, she's got to go. He is now the nominee of the Democratic Party in Maine, and we'll do everything we can to help him.
All right, we got to take our break. I just want to make sure I'm 100% clear. You're saying it's fair game, it's okay, it's good for the voters and the media to scrutinize the character of Graham Platner or anybody else?
I think it's important that that elected leaders are authentic with the voters and honest with the voters about who they are.
Okay.
I don't think that should be necessarily. Each voter gets a time to determine what is the deciding factor in how they cast their vote. I believe they're going to choose Democratic candidates and will be winning in November.
On that note, we'll take our break and we'll continue our conversation with the chair of the Massachusetts Democratic Party, Steve Kerrigan, in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our conversation with Steve Kerrigan. He's the chair of the Massachusetts Democratic Party. So, Steve, how you just came off the convention, you had a chance to interact with delegates, and you're always talking to people within the party. How widespread would you say support is within the Democratic Party for Auditor DeZoglio's crusade to implement the referendum question and audit the legislature?
So I will say, we don't poll our delegates on questions like that. We certainly saw a lot of it at the incredibly disorganized Republican convention. Our state committee a while back endorsed that ballot question. I voted for it. And I know the implementation of it is something that the Attorney General and the Auditor and everybody else is working on. That is not something that we deal with in the party. And so I couldn't possibly tell you what the opinion of the delegates are because we didn't ask. But the implementation of it is entirely up to the constitutional officers.
Well, as someone who voted for the question, do you feel disenfranchised by the delay?
No. No, I want to make sure it gets done right. And I trust that the Attorney General and the Auditor are doing the best they can to get it done.
And the legislative leaders have brought up legitimate questions, you think?
I do. But again, this is an issue for our elected leaders and not for someone who leads a political party. That is not something. But what I will say is when you bring up elected leaders, of late, Mass Fiscal Alliance and others, which I can't even stand saying those words, but there's an organization entirely dedicated to spewing misinformation on Beacon Hill. They've grabbed onto this issue and many others to go after elected leaders in a frankly terribly irresponsible way. They're going after the speaker. They're going after leaders all across Beacon Hill, people who have worked hard their entire career and work hard every day to make Massachusetts more affordable with the governor and with their colleagues on Beacon Hill. And so I just had to say I cannot stand Mass Fiscal Alliance and the work they say they're doing to help Massachusetts. If they really want to help, they will get to work, pick up a shovel, and work with our legislative leaders of both parties to join in the fight to bring more affordable things. And they try to influence their colleagues in Washington who are doing absolutely nothing to lower costs for people here in Massachusetts.
When you talk to candidates, or when they, I imagine on occasion, they seek your advice. You're a veteran of many years in politics, who formerly worked for Senator Kennedy, Ted Kennedy. What are you telling candidates this time around? Just answer any question with the words Donald Trump, or is it more than that?
No. We can't be a party that is just against Donald Trump. We have to be a party that's for something, which is what the governor and lieutenant governor have been doing and why their campaign is going to be so successful. They're the only candidates in this race talking about and with a track record for making things more affordable in this Commonwealth. They've got 100,000 new houses either built or in process. They have tackled healthcare problems that Donald Trump has laid at the doorstep. They've tackled the tea that Brian Shortsleeve left literally on fire when he was leading the tea. They have put the people of Massachusetts forward, and first and foremost in the work that they do, because they understand that that's the job that they're elected to do, and are excited that they're going to be running for re-election. And we were super excited to endorse them at our convention last week, which was, by the way, a very well-organized convention, if I do say so myself, in contrast to the Republican convention. And they're going to get back to work or stay at work in their second term and continue to build on those great successes.
Well, we're down to our last few
Yeah.
seconds here, but speaking of conventions, what's the latest from the National DNC on our bid to host the national convention here in 2 years?
We were super excited to host them last month. They're in their thought process now. My assumption is they'll narrow it down relatively soon. When we'll hear, I don't know, but we just keep looking at the chimney for white smoke or black smoke.
Well, when you took the delegation surveying Boston out for whatever meals, did you find that they cleaned their plates?
They did pretty well.
I bet they did.
Pretty well.
Right.
And they enjoyed J.J. Foley's late night, too.
Oh, what could be bad?
Exactly.
Yeah, good Guinness there.
Indeed.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, John.
Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Right now, it's back over to my colleagues for a round of Guinness and more WBZ News.